Boom! All right, Kenman here. Today we have an unboxing. I purchased a knife. This was actually sent to me from Fred the Lug, along with several other cool knives from his collection to kind of check out, share with all of you. Some of them were for sale, and I fell in love with this one instantly. Bought it. Here it is. We've kind of checked it out on the live stream, but let's do an official unboxing. We have a Remette sleeve on the floor. Haven't picked up anything from Remette for a little while. Let's get into it. Why did I fall in love with this? Let's find out together. I did unbox this on a live stream already. I go live regularly, but also on Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Central every week. So if you want to tune in, got a nice cloth over there. Pouch on the floor and the mini bag on the floor. There it is in all its gorgeousness. Today we're looking at the Remette Meteor. Boom. Isn't it gorgeous, right? Tell you what, it was instantaneous love. Saw a lot of cool stuff from Remette when I was in the Blade Show Atlanta. Some good videos on that. Go check them out. But yeah, this one here on the radar, I dig it. Let's break it down. Let's check it out. What are we looking at here? The Remette Meteor. We have a couple of nice thumb studs on there. Thumbs out really easy. The flick out is great. We have a bolster lock, liner lock, kind of covered by this section right here, but it's also a button actuated bolster liner lock. So that button right there, if you look, let me turn it this way maybe for lighting. When you push the button, it also actuates that little bolster liner lock there. So it's kind of a really nice feature. Super fidgety. So we can close it like that. We can close it like this. I can open it with the button. We can thumb it out. Flick it out. Front flip it out. Tell me that's not cool. So we have the bolsters, a nice black titanium, little titanium backspacer on there with a couple of ridge lines kind of jimped. And then we also have this really nice looking kind of white carbon fiber on the lower section of the handle. Tell me that isn't just gorgeous. I really like it. I really like it. So the button makes it drop real easy to swing out, open and closed. Action on this is great. As a lefty, I can put my thumb kind of on that little bit. Now I can't at all. I could before. It doesn't seem to be an issue because you almost have to put your thumb up there to get to it. My natural flick opening, my thumb's kind of down here. It's not even really on it. But you can put a little pressure on there. So as a lefty, not really any issues for opening and closing. That button works really good. And if you're not big into button locks because you don't trust a plunge button lock, this button is totally making it actuate the liner. So you are entrusted with words. You have the trust and reliability of the liner lock. A little bit more reliable to some people than that plunge button. Man, the fidget factor on this thing is really cool. So we have an M390 on the blade and a nice little swedge on the top. It's not sharp on that top, but it kind of almost has like a dagger kind of a grind to it. I like the look. Little sharpening choil right there, and they do have a little flat section there so you can kind of choke up in that spot. It feels good for getting into doing some cuts. Tip is in a great location there for some nice draws. Real easy to work. Not a huge knife, but very comfortable in my hand. It's got some jumps here behind the thumb studs, but they are really mild and they don't stick out very much. They feel all right like that when you're right there. You get up choked up, you kind of drop past them pretty quick. And it's got a smooth kind of crown that's fairly thin, so it's a little slick. I like a lot of jimps. You know me, they could just send jimps all the way. Looks almost like it's a dual kind of a finish where this grind, this little satin line goes across this way, and then everything else kind of has more of the that's a hollow grind in there. Ooh, how about that? Awesome design. I dig it. detent is solid, so it is a button, but you do have that lock on the liner lock on this side, that bolster. It does push in pretty nice, so kind of getting it to talk. Once you get away, I caught it on my index finger there. It pretty much flicks out really easy. The detent is set really well on there. Roll over on the index finger for the front flick out works pretty good as well. That front flipper is pretty easy. It's pretty high up there. It's got a nice little large hook coming out, but I don't think it sticks out too much. I haven't had it in the pocket all that much. I've only carried it one time so far. Stay tuned. I'll let you know how that goes. Generally, though, when people say, oh, there's like a horn on there, it sticks out, I've never really had any issues with the ones that people have said that I have. Yeah. So I do like the way these carbon fiber kind of covers, these little liners on the front, or on the rear, I guess. And then you got that little bolster look with the black. Nice, clean design. Clip cannot be swapped to the other side. It's only one. It's probably recessed in there. Probably a little cut out. So yeah, you can't really swap that clip for a lefty unless you did a big custom. I need to start getting into that. Nice captive pivot on there. Blade is... looks like it's just a little off center. It's actually a little that way. Are we solid? Yeah, maybe I'm getting a little bit of sway on here from playing around with it. Where's my... all right. I'm going to crank that down just a little. Ooh, yeah. Okay, now she's solid. And it's in the middle. So I've been playing around with it quite a bit. Sometimes right when you get a new knife, you got that pivot kind of loosens up on its own from opening it and closing it a bunch. So now we're a little bit tighter. Action's fantastic. If you want to get in that right hand, you can button or get in here and liner, drop it to the thumb, no problem at all. Look at the action on this thing. Isn't this great? Boom. Really cool. You just know some knives, you see them and you just can tell right away whether or not it's something for you. And Fred always has some good taste in some knives. But I saw this one, and that button liner lock is a really cool feature. Plus the fidgety factor on here. It feels great in my hand. Even though it's not totally for a lefty, I dig it. I like that back spacer on there with those little bit of, just a couple little lines. There is a little lanyard spot for you as well. Blade is solid after I've tightened it up. No play, and we did get it to the center there. Just got a little loose on that pivot. What's everyone think about Remette? Some really cool stuff they've been working on. Lots of fun, innovating designs and things. I dig it. Check them out. 7 and a little more than 7.5, almost 7 5/8, but not quite. Looking at a 3 1/4 inch blade. You could almost say 3 1/2 at an angle, but it's about 3 1/4. And just over 3 inches on the cutting surface with a slight curve on the belly. And 4 3/8 on the handle. Blade thickness 0.12, 0.12. So that 0.12 carries all the way out to there, and then you got this little relief kind of look edge or cut up there, and then the grind down on the bottom. That feels great. I dig it. 0.53 on the handle, thinnest spot 0.91, thickest out here at the back 1.15. That's another thing I like about knives. I like larger, wider handles. I have a bigger hand. I have some thinner, delicate handles as well, but I can appreciate 1.11 on the thickest on the blade. Just when I grab it like this, there's just plenty to get a hold on. My pinky doesn't wrap all the way around and touch my palm. It just feels more comfortable for a larger hand to have a bigger handle. Doesn't mean I won't buy a smaller one, but when I see one that gets a little wider like this, I usually gravitate towards those a little bit more. Okay. I'm not a big lover of carbon fiber either, but something about this one, this white kind of look, it's got a nice feel, nice kind of tuxedo kind of a look to it. 4.19. Compare everything with the Kaiser Drop Bear, 3.29. So a little bit heavier, it's a little bit bigger, more titanium on there. I like a heavier knife. What do you like? Lighter, heavier? Comment below. I prefer the heavier ones. When they make them ultra light, it just doesn't feel like I have something in my hand, and I just like to feel it, know it's there, even if I'm wearing shorts. So the Kaiser Drop Bear has all the jimps that I'm talking about that I love. Really nice, clutch lock from Kaiser. Really good action, fun, fidgety, great daily user, not quite full size, bug out killer, pyrite sized. Good comparison size. Looks like the Remette is just a little bit bigger. The Meteor has maybe 1/8 of an inch on the front and the back compared to that Drop Bear, but really it's about that same size, so not quite full size, great user size. Have a few Remettes in the collection. I enjoy all the ones that I have. There's definitely several others that I would like to get that I've had in pass arounds for review and stuff. And they are making some really cool new lock types and different ways you can take the scales off and stuff like that. If you haven't really seen anything from Remette, check them out. All right, I do a paper cut test. This is essentially kind of a brand new knife. Fred bought it and had it for a little bit and sent it around the pass around. So it hasn't been used too much, but it is mine now, so to do with what I want. Let's do a little paper cut test here with this M390. Yep. Ooh, curlies. That is nice. I'm going to give that easily an 8.5 out of 9. It feels like I could make it just a little bit more of a screamer, almost like it's leaving a slightly rough edge, but I am getting some curlies out of that, and it does cut nice. We'll give that about an 8.5. I can dig it, but I think we can make it a little bit better. Ooh. Oh. You see that? I can't even pick it up. Look at that curly. That's one of the smallest ones I've made so far. That's fun. So yeah, the Remette Meteor. Thanks again to Fred for sending me some cool knives from his collection to check out. I've bought a few. I have purchased. There are several that Fred has sent me that I have then in turn exchanged for money to keep them. And this is one of them. Thanks again though, Fred. Much appreciated. You got some real great taste. Check out some Remettes. Button actuated liner locks are cool and here to stay. Do you have any other knives that are like that? Comment below. Let me know what I should look at next. Stay sharp. We'll see you soon.